Okay, so let's say you're somebody who you've taken things off your plate, you don't have anything unnecessary going on, you're not bending to every single request coming at you, but what God has given you is just very massive, and you have a lot of things to do. And these are things that you can't really opt out of, but it seems like you just can't get it all done, especially when you're trying to do everything at the same time. So if that fits you, I want to help you. So if that's the case, you may need to reprioritize again. So those things that you're working on, get those things in priority. And if you've been someone who you can't seem to close a project, you start a bunch of things and you can't finish them. So prioritize again. I know sometimes it's hard, but you choose in order of priority, and then work on finishing that one thing first. Get that one thing done. But like we talked about in the beginning, don't give yourself an infinite amount of time to get that done. Give yourself a deadline. Give yourself a deadline that's realistic, that you can complete that project. If you don't know how realistic it is, start somewhere. Give yourself a deadline, 30 days, 60 days, whatever it is, but give yourself a hard deadline. Now, what do you do with the remaining projects while you're waiting to be finished with the first one? What you can do is give yourself a deadline to return to those remaining projects. And the way that we can manage it to make sure that we don't wake up at the end of 2020 and we're still not done, or the end of 2025 or 2030 and we still haven't completed what God has given us, what we can do is every 30 days or 60 days, some maybe even just every once a quarter for some people, but I would recommend every 30 days reevaluate where you are. So while you're working on that first project, 30 days from now, go back and reevaluate where you are. The key question you want to answer is, have I completed what I was working on already? And am I ready to proceed on priority number two? Am I ready to go on to the next project? So regularly reevaluate where you are and where you can go, where you can be. So if you have like 4 books to write, instead of just knowing that you need to write them, work on completing that first book. But you have set in your phone a reminder for every 30 days. Go in your calendar and say, hey, every 30th of the month, I'm going to reevaluate my progress on my goals. And I'm going to look and see if I'm ready to go to book number 2 now. And if you're not, you can reset your deadlines if you need to, readjust the time. And but if you are ready, go ahead and proceed to your next project, your next idea, your next item. That way, having a written plan to address the outstanding items in your life is better than just being, willy-nilly just out there with no structure and no focus. That way you have an idea of when you're going to get to what, and you're not just going to let it go on infinitely. And when you have projects that are open infinitely, you are opening yourself up to procrastinate. You're allowing yourself that freedom to say, I'm too busy to make a commitment. So one reason that a lot of us procrastinate is because we refuse to make a firm commitment with what we're doing. So I want to encourage you, set up those dates, set up those deadlines. So even if you have to go on Google Calendar, Outlook, whatever, and take 5 minutes and put in there every 30 days, remind me to check up on my goals and what I've set up and to evaluate where I am. That's what you do if you want to make sure that those things don't fall by the wayside. So hope this helps. Let's master our minutes so that we can manage our destiny.